Welcome to the Innie Project, a podcast for and about introverts, where we are on a mission to change the narrative around introversion. I'm Tiana, an extroverted introvert, Capricorn from Brooklyn. This episode is entitled, What Kind of Introvert Are You? This topic is not what I originally planned for this episode, but based on conversations that I've had recently, it became quite clear that there needed to be an episode about the different types of introverts. One interaction in particular made me want to talk about this. A friend of mine was trying to connect me with a friend of hers to help me with the Innie Project. So she connected us via email. During that exchange, we decided that we were going to connect on a Tuesday at 5 o'clock. But on Tuesday, I see a missed call from her at 2:17. I wondered, did I mess up the scheduling? So I called her back and I said, I thought our meeting was at 5. She said, yeah, but I realized I hadn't sent you the Zoom link. And our mutual friend told me that you're an introvert. So I felt like I needed to reach out to you to find out if you were okay to Zoom. I told her I'm an introvert, but I'm not that kind of an introvert. I enjoy talking to people. I use Zoom all the time. And so it made it clear to me that there needed to be an episode about the different types of introverts. According to psychologist Jonathan Cheek, there are 4 types of introverts. We typically fall into one or more of these categories: social, thinking, anxious, and restrained, also referred to as STAR. Here's the breakdown. Number 1, the social introvert. This isn't about social anxiety, it's about preference. Social introverts enjoy being around people, but prefer small groups, familiar faces, and meaningful conversations over big, noisy events. This one resonates with me a lot. I've always loved deep conversations, especially when I connect with someone one on one. With that said, networking events in general are not really my thing unless I can get there early and talk to people individually. If you find yourself avoiding big social scenes, but not out of fear, but because they just drain you, you may be a social introvert. 2 is the thinking introvert. These are the daydreamers, the deep processors, the ones who live in their heads in the best way. Thinking introverts often reflect a lot, imagine different possibilities, and analyze everything from multiple angles. If you find yourself getting stuck planning something to perfection before taking action, you're probably a thinking introvert. 3, the anxious introvert. This type of introvert may feel uneasy or awkward in social settings, even when they're alone. It's less about choice and more about a constant internal dialogue or self consciousness. This can manifest as overthinking before and after a social interaction. Did I say too much? Was that weird? Should I have smiled more? I'm personally, I'm not generally an anxious introvert. Well, at least not about socializing. But I do have a tendency to say the wrong thing, and I end up still thinking about it years later. This is the kind of introvert that most people think of when it comes to introversion. If you recognize this kind of social spiral, you may be an anxious introvert. And finally, number 4, the restrained introvert. These are the slow starters. Restrained introverts prefer to think before they act. They tend to move at a more measured pace, especially in new situations. It's like warming up before jumping in. I love this description because it explains why some introverts aren't necessarily shy, but we just take our time before stepping forward. As I've said before, these things do not define you. They're just additional pieces of information. When I took the quiz, it labeled me a social introvert, which I agree with for the most part. But I'd say I'm also a restrained introvert. Often when I meet new people, they say I'm reserved. But the way they say it is as though it's a negative. I think of myself like a cat. It takes me a while to warm up. I sit quietly observing, sometimes judging, before I decide to engage. I'm not for everyone, and not everyone is for me, and I'm okay with that. So, what kind of introvert are you? Maybe you're just one of these types. Maybe you're all four, depending on the day. There's no right kind. What's most important is realizing that introversion isn't a limitation, it's a lens. And when we understand how our introversion shows up, we can lead, connect, and thrive in ways that feel authentic to us and not performative. I'd love to hear which type of introvert you relate to the most. Leave a comment, send a message, or share this episode with another introvert in your life. And if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. Every listen helps grow this community. Thanks for joining me. Take care of your energy, honor your pace and your peace, and keep changing the narrative around introversion. Have a great day.